The name is Bond, James Bond. Bond, James Bond. Bond, James Bond. What's up, guys? Welcome to the accent world. You just saw the bloopers. Why I just took this name? Because today we gotta be making a kind of accent work over here with different accents. Actually, we just made a tutorial class on noun, adverb, adjective, different kinds of grammars. So yes, today we gotta be making it on different names of different celebrities, different famous people, not only the actors but also different presidents, and yes, of course, a lot of kind of important people. We say the people who are very, very popular all over the world and all over the country too. So yes, let's just start the video. So here we go. So basically, who is the leader of a country? Especially in a democratic country, the president is obviously the leader. So what we gotta do is, first we gotta start with different countries' presidents. So the most and the main presidents who are in news right now, in the air right now, they are Vladimir Putin and yes, of course, your Volodymyr Zelensky, right? Yeah. So basically, how you gotta spell out their name in different countries? They spell out in different names. What are we gonna do there? That we would be comparing the American accent, Indian accent, and also the Romanian, Spanish, and yes, of course, the British accent. Why I'm just bringing on the Romanian accent with this thing, because Romanian and Spanish accent almost the same. Okay, so never made a video on it, which is why today it's his chance. Okay, so we know the name Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president name. So when we come to the Indian accent, it becomes Volodymyr Zelensky. Okay, so when it comes to the British accent, it comes to Volodymyr Zelensky. You saw that? Volodymyr Zelensky. But when it comes to the Spanish or Romanian, Volodymyr Zelensky. I think probably in Ukrainian language, I never explored the Ukrainian language, but I'm gonna explore it very soon. But in Russian language too, they would be speaking Volodymyr Zelensky. Okay, so if I talk about the American accent, then definitely it's gonna be Volodymyr Zelensky. Some people, when they're reading this name for the first time in America, they would be telling this Volodymyr Zelensky, Zelensky. It depends on the persons. Similarly, if we talk about the Russian president, his name is Vladimir Putin. So when it comes to the Indian accent, then definitely we say that Vladimir Putin or Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin or Vladimir Putin. Different people in India, they make it in different way. But when it comes to the British accent, then they say Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin. They don't make it Vla, they make it Vla. Okay? So here it comes the most difference. And when we come to the Spanish, or you can say the Romanian, then they make it Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin. Okay, so it is kind of similar with the Russian accent too, but these languages are very, very different from each other. But when it comes to the American accent, it becomes Vladimir Putin, or you can say Vladimir Putin. Some people make it Putin, or some people make it Putin. Vladimir. Some people say Vladimir. Some people say Vladimir. It becomes, but the most spelled out is Vladimir Putin. So yes, it's very, very convenient. And here we come to our country's president, India's president. So when we gotta find the president of India, what is the president of India, right? So we know that his name is Ram Nath Kovind. So yeah, especially every people know in India his name is Ram Nath Kovind. And if we talk about the Prime Minister of India, he's very famous. Everybody knows him, Narendra Modi, Narendra Damodar Rao Modi. Okay, so yes, if these two names would be spelled out in your Espanol or in your Romanian accent, Ramnath Kovind, almost the same. They can make it. They can make it if they spell it properly. And if we talk about the Romanian accent and American accent in the form of Narendra Modi, then definitely they will be making Narendra Modi. Almost the same. You got it. So yes, right now we gotta be going for the British accent. They would be making the British accent the president of India's name, Ramnath Kovind. Ramnath Kovind. Okay, and if we talk about Mr. Narendra Modi, then definitely they will be making Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi. Okay, kind of like that. And when it comes to the American accent, then some people are gonna spell the president of India as like Ramnath Kovind or Ramnath Kovind, just like that. They don't speak Ram as Ram, they speak it as Ram, because as we know that when the computer was invented, we know that random access memory. So according to them, it's RAM, not Ram. Okay, so they don't say it Ram till yet. We make them totally clarify that it's not RAM, it's Ram. This Ram is different, it's a name, but this RAM is the name of a kind of chip. Okay, computer chip. Okay, so yes, that's the difference. So a lot of people, when they first listen the name as Ram, they tell it Ram, Ramnath Kovind. They make it. But when it comes to the name of Narendra Modi, then it becomes Narendra Modi. Okay, that's the reality. And next we gotta go for which country? We gotta search it out. Oh yes, I forgot. If we talk about American accent, then how you gotta forget the American presidents, the former presidents. The former president was Donald Trump. So yes, if we talk about the Indian accent, then definitely we know Donald Trump. Everybody speaks very clear, very clarified. When it comes to the British accent, then definitely it becomes Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Okay? But when it comes to the Spanish and the Espanol accent, then definitely it becomes Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Their style. But as the Americans say it, Donald Trump. Donald Trump. And if we talk about the right now who is just ruling on America is Joe Biden. His actual, we gotta say Joe Biden, but in India some people say Joe Biden, like this. But when it comes to the Espanol or Romanian accent, it becomes Joe Biden or Joe Biden. Because I just made a video on Espanol accent where I just stated that as like the word isolate, they make it isolate, not isolate, they make it isolate. But over here, it depends on the person to person, but a lot of people tell it as Joe Biden, not Biden or Biden, that make it Biden. Then it comes to the British accent. When we talk about the British accent, then definitely we gotta say that it's Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Okay? But when it comes to the American accent, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Okay? Okay. Enough with the presidents from the important countries. Now let's get into some celebrities' name. Okay. So basically I'm gonna state that I'm a big fan of my best Bollywood actor, Hrithik Roshan. Okay, so in India, everybody's convenient about him. Everybody knows about him. So yes, it's Hrithik Roshan. Everybody knows that. But when it comes to the Espanol or your Romanian accent, they make it Hrithik Roshan or Hrithik Roshan. Hrithik Roshan. It's not our fault. It's their mother tongue influence. We can't do anything. They need to learn the perfect English. Okay, so yes. But when it comes to the British accent, it becomes Hrithik Roshan. Okay, and when it comes to the American accent, it becomes Hrithik Roshan. Hrithik Roshan. Okay. Now, whom I'm gonna find out? Let's get into some Hollywood celebrities. How the Indians are gonna spell out them, and how the other country people just gonna spell out their name. Okay. So whom we gotta take, just need to figure out. Okay, so one of my favorite actor, I'm gonna name, his name is Dwayne Johnson. Especially everybody knows as him The Rock in WWE. If you are watching, I mean, he's the retired one. So yes, if we talk about him, then in India we say Dwayne Johnson or Dwayne Johnson, just like this. But when it comes to the American accent, Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson. Okay. When it comes to British accent, it becomes Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson. I mean, in American style, they take it Johnson. But over British accent, Johnson. Because in America, if we tell John, the name John, here we say John. John. Normal. But in American accent, they make it John. Okay. But when it comes to the British accent, they make it John. John. Okay. And when it comes to the Romanian, or you can say the Spanish accent, it becomes Dwayne Johnson. I mean, the name, you gotta say Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson. Or Dwayne Johnson. They make it such kind of accent. So now we gotta go to a different name. Okay. Whom we gotta choose? Okay. I got it. Very famous actress. Her name is Nicole Kidman. And when in India, people are gonna say that Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman. Very clarified, very clear, and that's good. But when it comes to the Espanol or the Romanian accent, then definitely it's gotta be Nicole Kidman or Kidman. Just like that. They don't say that kid as kid or kid, they make it kid. Okay. But when it comes to the British accent, Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman. Okay. But when it comes to the American accent, Nicole Kidman. Very good. And another famous actor, the name is Robert Downey Jr. We know that. But when it comes to the Indian accent, people make it Robert Downey Jr. or people make Robert Downey Jr. They spell like this. And when it comes to the British accent, Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. Or when it comes to the Espanol or Romanian, Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. Okay, but when it as clarified in American accent, Robert Downey Jr. Okay, now who am I gonna pick up? Okay, so this is a famous singer, Jennifer Lopez. Okay, so big fan. I'm a big fan of her too. Her songs, yes, of course. But when it comes to the Indian accent, some say Jennifer Lopez, some say Jennifer Lopez. Lopez, big difference. When it comes to the Spanish or Romanian accent, people say Jennifer Lopez, something like that. But when it comes to the British accent, it becomes Jennifer Lopez. Okay, very clear. But when it comes to the American accent, it becomes Jennifer Lopez. Pretty similar. This name is very similar. Okay, here is another name, Cameron Diaz. Okay, so people in India, they say Cameron Diaz, Cameron Diaz, just like this with their influence. But when it comes to Romanian or Spanish, how they gotta spell Cameron Diaz or Cameron Diaz. When it comes to the British accent, Cameron Diaz. Okay, but when it comes to the American accent, Cameron Diaz. Very similar, and not very similar, big difference. But if we can compare the British accent and the American accent, it's very similar. Okay, so I'm gonna choose. Okay, here is another actor. As I said, you just clarify over here. As I said, James Bond. Okay, so I gotta forget Daniel Craig. Okay, in India, people say him as Daniel Craig, but when it comes to the American accent, Daniel Craig. Daniel, not Daniel. Daniel. Okay, but when it comes to the Spanish or the Romanian accent, it becomes Daniel Craig or Daniel Craig. Okay, but when it comes to the British accent, Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig. Okay, so had enough with the celebrities. Now we gotta go to some novelist. Okay. 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 Got one of the novelist. His name is Charles Dickens. Okay, and okay. So if we talk about this name is actually, when it comes to the Indian accent, it will be Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens. Very similar. Very simple. Okay, but when it comes to the British accent, Charles Dickens, and when it comes to the American accent, it becomes Charles Dickens. Okay, or Charles Dickens. But when it comes to the Romanian or the Spanish accent, then definitely we gotta say it Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens. Okay, so another Indian famous novelist, his name is Rabindranath Tagore. When it comes to the Indian accent, it becomes Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, but when it comes to the Spanish accent, then definitely it becomes Rabindranath Tagore. Tagore, not Tagore, not Tagore. It becomes Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, but when it comes to the American accent, it becomes Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore. But when it comes to the British accent, Rabindranath Tagore. Okay. So another novelist's name is Ernest Hemingway. Okay, this name in Indian accent, some people will say Ernest Hemingway. Okay, many people make mistakes, but yes, it's Ernest Hemingway. Okay, but when it comes to the American accent, it becomes Ernest Hemingway. Okay, but when it comes to the British accent, then definitely it becomes Ernest Hemingway. But when it comes to the Spanish or the Romanian accent, it becomes Ernest Hemingway. Okay, hope you got it. Okay, another famous novelist, Oscar Wilde. Okay, so we Indians, we say Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde. Okay. I mean the Oscar, they say it Oscar, not Oscar, Oscar. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm gonna say you that I have an Oscar city over here in my place in Bhubaneswar. Okay. Okay. So Oscar Wilde, and in British accent it becomes Oscar Wilde. Okay. In American accent very familiar, it becomes Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde, not Wild, Wild. Okay. But when it comes to the you gotta say that Spanish or Romanian accent, it becomes Oscar Wilde or Oscar Wilde. Okay. So I just made, this video is gonna be big, very very big. So I just made some novelists, some actors, and few presidents, prime minister's name. So lot more kinds of content. I've been thinking a lot more things how to make these kind of contents. So just thought about it today and just made it. As you know, guys, as you know that nothing is scripted over here. I just searched out everything in the Google. I mean, not my experience. I just searched out those names. You know that we just remember a lot of things. So these names is very 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 tough to remember. I mean, not tough. The people who are in air, who are in news, it's very very easy to remember them right now. But the thing is that who are the past, they are very very, I mean, you can just say that they're not so easy to remember. I mean, you can remember, but the thing is that you have to make that big memory like a computer. Okay. So yes, right now this is we gotta be finishing over here right now. This is it, and stay tuned with this channel, and I'm gonna make this kind of things for the kids and a lot of people who face a lot of problem understanding the English, and yes, of course, can speak the English. So very few, in a very few days, I'm gonna be bringing to how to make sentences in different accent, whether it's American or it's Spanish or it's Romanian or it's the European or the French. Actually, if you gotta be seeing the French accent and the British accent, it's almost similar. Okay, it's not very very different. So yes, you must stay tuned with this channel, and you should be remembering that knowledge is power. So stay knowledgeable and stay powerful. Goodbye.